everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Pam with Crafty Mom 1919. Today we are making dessert. This is called flan. It's one of my kids' favorite. There you go, that's my daughter's plate. It is super simple to make and super fun. These are the ingredients that we're gonna need. Now I'm gonna go ahead and leave an exact recipe in the description if you guys choose to go ahead and make this. Again, it's really simple. First, we're going to go ahead and open up our canned milk, and we're going to pour it into, you can use a blender. In this case, we have a food processor, which works just fine. Just something to really blend it. Unfortunately, you can't use a hand mixer, or actually, I've never used a hand mixer. You can't use a stand mixer. I mean, it definitely needs to be blended for at least a good couple of minutes to incorporate everything. Meanwhile, go ahead and set your oven at 350, and while you're getting your mix ready, and along with the 2 cans of milk, we're going to go ahead and use 2 cups of heavy whipping cream. This is super important. This is the ingredient that makes the cake nice and smooth and creamy. Okay, so just 2 cups, carefully poured inside your blender or your food processor. And after we're done with the cream, all we need now is 2 more ingredients, which is your eggs and then your vanilla. And that's pretty much it. Super simple. And my daughter's gonna go ahead and get the eggs cracked. Now I'm using large brown cage-free eggs. They were my absolutely favorite. So this is funny because the last one she wanted to try a one-handed crack and throw. Let's see how she goes. And nailed it. That's awesome. I can't even do that. That's pretty cool. All right, so we're gonna put our eggs into our milk mixture. I'm gonna slowly try to pour it so it doesn't splash the milk back at us. And then once we get our eggs in here, this is where we need to really give it at least a minute to 2 minutes. I would say about 2 minutes mixing, because we want to incorporate the egg and the milk. We also want to melt the sweet milk, get it nice and loosen. So here we are. We're going to mix on low. Okay, you don't have to put it on high or medium. Low is just enough what we need to do to blend it for a couple of minutes. All right, once that's blended, we're going to go ahead and grab our good vanilla. And you want to use a good vanilla on this. And that's our last ingredient for the mixture, milk mixture. Just going to go ahead and pulse this real quick to incorporate the vanilla. And then we want to go ahead and get our frying pan on the stove. Put our stove at medium high. And get 1 cup of just regular white flour. 1 cup of regular white sugar. Okay, and then put it in our pan. Now you don't have to wait till the pan get hot. You can just, my pan was just sitting on the stove. Now this is going to take a few minutes. Do not leave the kitchen. You got to watch it. You got to keep your eye on it, because this is serious stuff here. So you have to stay with it. It's going to take at least about 3-4 minutes. Okay? At least. I'm speeding this up for you, but it's going to take about 3 to 4 minutes to start doing its thing. So it's starting to bubble up at the ends already, as you can see. So once it starts to bubble up, it's just going to be like 15 seconds, maybe less, before it's done. Okay, now you can easily burn this. So what I'm doing is I'm lifting the pan up from the heat so I can get a chance to, stir it in, and then I'll put it back down, get some more heat, and I'll just keep repeating that until I'm okay with the color. Okay, a lot of people, they like to do it light, and then if you go too dark, you might burn it. So I kind of go for in between, like a nice caramel color, golden caramel color. So here I am lifting it up again, keep stirring it. Don't stop stirring it so the sugar can melt. All right, so just a couple more seconds until all of it turns into a beautiful color. And just 1 more second on the heat here, and that is it. We're done. So we got to move fast with this, guys. Okay, so because once it gets cold, you know, can't move it. So we want to make sure we move very fast, but we want to be very careful because this is dangerously hot and you can get seriously burned with this. So please take your time with this. This is the scariest part. A lot of people don't like doing this dessert because of this part with the caramel. All right, so what we're going to do is going to grab some mittens real quick and swirl this around before it gets cold. Okay, so we're going to swirl, swirl, swirl. Make sure we get the caramel on the bottom and also a little bit on the side. Okay, as you can see, it's rolling okay now, but it's going to start to slow down because it's starting to get thick. So I just swirling it as fast as I can. And it's slowing up, but we are done. And that's it. Now we're going to get our turkey baking pan, which is what I have, but you can use a foil pan, the one that they bake turkey in for the holidays, the big deep ones, and you can use that one. But I have my my baking pan here that I'm going to put with 1/3 of water. So you want to make sure we have about 1/3 of water, average. You might have to take some out or put some back in, but average about 1/3 of water. And then we're going to, now the water is just, it's not heated, just in case you guys are wondering. The water is just regular lukewarm from the tap. All right, so we're putting the pan inside the water bath is what it's called, in just a normal temperature water. Okay, a lot of people are confused about that. I mean, do you put hot water in the pan and then put your cake in? Do you put cold water? No, it's just regular water from the tap. All right, and then you just pour your milk mixture inside of your 9-inch round pan, nice and slow. You gotta make sure you got one of those nice deep 9-inch pan, not those shallow ones, because it's gonna be too much for that. All right, and then we're gonna go ahead and you can use a square pan for this too, as long as it's nice and deep. It doesn't have to be round. You just put it in the water, nice and easy. They said the water comes up a little bit. Now the water has to be a little bit over cover half of the 9-inch pan, and then we're good to go. All right, and then we're gonna put it in our oven, nice and carefully, because the oven is hot. And then we're gonna cook this or bake this for 50 minutes on 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And that's it. 50 minutes later, here we go. Beautiful. It is ready. Now you got to be very careful with this because the water is super, super hot because it was bubbling up in the oven. All right. So it's, you know, it's good to have a pan that has a handle on the side. I couldn't grab the right handle, but it's all good. Now you can test this with a toothpick or a knife or something. Check the center, make sure it's nice and clean. But I usually know because I shake it, and depending on how much it jiggles, I know it's ready because I know the texture of it and the firmness. All right, so let this cool. You know, take it out the hot water really, really fast. Let this cool. And then you're going to score the ends to separate the cake from the pan. Now be very careful with this. You don't want to scratch your pan. So I'm lightly going around the corner just to loosen it. And then you want to get a plate with a little bit of depth because you're going to have the caramel coming out. And then once you get that, you want to flip it real quick and do a nice little flip there, and then give it a second to drop, and then you'll see the caramel pouring out, and then just lift it up. Now when I lift my pan up, it dropped a little bit on the cake and it made a little smiley face, which is just fine. And the cake's not going to taste any different. It's going to taste the same. All right, so usually you let this cool, put it in the refrigerator, let it sit for about 30 minutes, 45 minutes or so. But my daughter is not going to wait 30 to 45 minutes. She was ready before we even started. So she's going to go ahead and get in there with her slice. Now, again, it's not cool. It's still warm. So it looks kind of messy, her getting her slice out. But, you know, it's fine. She doesn't care. She's going to eat it anyway. This is it, guys. Super, super easy. I'm going to go ahead and put the recipe in the description box below if you guys want to go ahead and try this. It is an amazing dessert. You know, we love flan, so we make it all the time. And it's really great to actually make your own dessert. I think it's amazing. Enjoy, guys.